Hello, folks. I just want to talk about this China storing the information. This is nothing new. They're making a big deal out of it, and they really are. And this is to start a fire. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I've worked in the medical field and I've worked in many different fields of work. And with all that you do, the data is stored. As we speak, whenever we get online, post a message on Facebook, Twitter, or any of those services. Anytime you do a search for anything, everything is stored. So sometimes people are checked randomly, sometimes people are checked on a more regular basis. It depends on who it is. So, if there's something that flagged you at some point, whether it's for religious reasons, for political reasons, or potential terrorist reasons, just keywords, we know these things. Folks, don't play dumb. We know that Facebook and other services are scanning. That's the way they're set up to prevent, any terrorist attack or whatever. So they're looking for keywords that are put in the computer system that are going to be flagged, and it could be just a joke, it could be a random thing that has nothing to do, but it's something that is there for national security, and all of the countries have that. So the fact that these genetic information is stored, people wake up. You know how many of you have done the genetic tests, those gene tests to see where you come from and what your ancestry is? I've never done one of those because there's no need for me to do that, because I can just look at myself and see that I have different races in me. In fact, I can change from one moment to another. I can change depending on the angle and depending on the lighting. My skin color looks different, my hair color looks different, my everything, and depends on the tone of my voice. I have different races in me. I know that just by looking at myself. So do you. Each and every one of you has, for as much as you would like to believe that you are a pure race or whatever, we know that even people that look black on the outside have, different races in them, and people that look Caucasian on the outside have different races, and that the same goes with a lot of people, because a lot of people would like to believe that they are this particular race because that's how they were brought up. But when they do the testing, they discover that they have these other things in their ancestry. Now, like I said, I don't need to conduct one of those tests to know, but the reason why these kids are picked up by DHR is to also have an excuse to do these kind of tests via drug tests. They take hair out of you all the way close to your scalp, and that's supposed to tell them if you've been on drugs for the past 10 years, if you've done any drugs. How is that even relevant? First of all, that's a violation of our rights here in America, okay? To be testing people to see if they've done drugs the past 10 years. So, does that give them the right to do that? To take your kid away from you? If you had done any drugs? Now, I've not done drugs. I've only tried marijuana once at the age of 27. I'm 47 now. That was 20 years ago. I tried marijuana once. Okay, and this is something that came out of my system immediately. I immediately started vomiting and sweating, and I had, to use the restroom. So it had that reaction on me. And the reason why I tried it is because my stepfather, who used to work at the Pentagon, he was a Army officer, he actually encouraged me to try marijuana at least once to get it out of my system when I was a teenager. And I was just not interested in doing that. So when I joined the military, they asked you a series of questions, and they asked you if you've ever done marijuana. And I said no. And I was like, no, I don't do this, I don't do that. And they were like, well, do you have a halo on you? And they were teasing me because I guess most kids had done something at one point or another. So actually, I was out of the military, well out of the military, when I tried marijuana once and only once, and my body expelled it. Now, I don't have a problem with people doing marijuana, but I do believe that it is a violation, a clear violation of our legal, of our civil, and our human rights to be picking up kids based on allegations that you're potentially suicidal just to have an excuse to do a drug test that goes all the way back to 10 years. This is more in depth. This is just the excuse to say, well, we're going to see if you've done drugs, even though that's not the reason why they took your kid away from you. This is an excuse to do more genetic testing. Okay? So I just want to let you know that when you provide any kind of sample, you know, your genetic stuff is everywhere. You know, your hair, the DNA is everywhere. So you've got hair, you've got body fluids. Folks, every day we brush our hair, and every day we shed hair. Our hair is everywhere. Okay? So I'm just telling you that everything that we do is being monitored and recorded, and we know that because I was being monitored and recorded in my own house that I thought was the privacy of my house in Mobile. Okay? And before that, and all of these things can be used against you because they can edit to put something together that doesn't make sense, yet it makes sense for whatever their purposes are. You know, they can make you sound like you're a racist when you're not. They can make you sound like you're, a terrorist when you're not. They can take anything that you've said out of context and out of order. And they can also, put it together so that when you're, making an expression on your face, you're surprised about something or you're upset about something, an emotion that is clearly seen on your face, they can take that and make it seem like you're reacting to something somebody else is saying, when that person may not have even been there at that time. So I just want to let you know that these things are called editing, and it's very professional, and it's very easy to do, and it's very easy to fool the masses. So this is that's going on in China. For one, it's not a violation of people's rights because, for one, these women are providing a genetic testing. That they're providing information for these people to do a genetic testing on them. So these people are gathering that genetic information, and storing it. And China's not the only one doing it. The United States has many, 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 many different labs. In fact, 2 labs here in the state of Alabama were busted with purposely falsifying results so that the people that were not on drugs looked like they were on drugs, just for the Department of Human Services to continue to keep the kids in the custody of the state, because the state keeps the money for the children that comes from the federal government. The federal government really is supposed to be helping poor parents, not giving it away to the states to misutilize it. Okay, this is a scam at national and state level. So I've read some of your posts. Some people may think that I'm a hypocrite because I'm quote unquote posting, from the Bible. Well, I want to let you know that it is not the desire of my heart to be without my son. It is not at all the desire of my heart to have nothing better to do. It is not the desire of my heart to be making these videos on a regular basis. But I just have to point it out to you that we're making a big deal out of China when we are voluntarily giving up our genetic material for genetic, background stuff. So folks, this thing that is happening in China is not a big deal. They're making it a big deal to start a fire. Okay, this is just an excuse for war. This is just an excuse to say that, that China's violating human rights when America is violating human rights, if not worse, because the hypocrisy to say that in God we trust and that this is the land of the free. It may be the land of the free for people that come from other countries, but it's not the land of the free for people who are being scrutinized by our own government for through these credit score to keep you from prospering. Okay? And certain people are kept from getting a job. You can apply and apply and apply and apply, and no company can, will ever even know that you're applying, because something can happen to your application in the to and from, even online. For one. For two, it can be denied because you can be flagged as a terrorist, or you can be flagged as a person who owes money, or some kind of a criminal. Oh yes, I'm just telling you this, that happened to me in Mississippi for years. I could not understand why I could not get a job after having served in the military, been honorably discharged, and having managed an infertility clinic working directly for a physician. In fact, when I was done with clinic, I would go to school after work. And I was, one of those kids. I was focused, okay? By the time I got out of the military, I was 24 years old. I actually purchased my home with my VA benefits at the age of 26. And when I went through this divorce that took 5 years, they took 5 years because during those 5 years they were exploiting me. Okay? My mind and my body. Exploiting me. And I wrote the White House, and it was like, no help whatsoever. People like me in my situation get no help from their own government. Okay? That's why we have veterans who have committed suicide after being homeless and being disabled without any, assistance or adequate assistance. So is this what we want to do? We want to serve a country that's not serving us? No, I don't think so. And then to say that these other countries are violating their people's rights is a hypocrisy, because we need to recognize the violation of human rights right here. And what China's doing with these genetic testing is no different than the information that, when you provide for this genetic, when you want to know where your ancestry. What do you think, that they don't keep your data? How are they gonna give you the results if they don't store the data and put it in their computer system? People, think for yourselves, okay?